Reverend Sarah likes to say that the magic happens when you are outside of your comfort zone. Well, I'm uncomfortable all the time, so that's a lot of magic. I'm a wizard at this point, Gandalf level. So while I could talk about all the magical ways that BUUF has inspired me and helped me on my spiritual journey, in the interest of time, I'm going to focus on one specific example of magic that I experienced at BUUF. Let's go back to June 7th, 2008. Carrie and I were back there in the courtyard getting married. Carrie and I had begun dating the year before, and in our courting phase, she introduced me to BUUF as a place and as a concept. It was all new to me. For all I knew, a Unitarian Universalist fellowship could be some culty militia. But after attending sporadically, I could see that A, no sinister plots were taking place that I knew about. B, I didn't have to worship some unseen being or follow random arcane rules. And C, this is the most important part, people were really, really nice. Now, as the choir director, Carrie knew a lot of people from the congregation. I didn't really know anyone yet. Our wedding had a delightfully eccentric guest list. My side of the family was Baptist. Carrie's side of the family was Mormon. There were kids that Carrie was teaching from the Bora High School that attended. I had some of my professors from BSU show up where I was getting my master's degree at the time. And then there were BUUFers that Carrie knew. All of these groups together. It was a little bit odd. Everywhere I looked, it was a mix of familiar and unfamiliar. There was something sweet and wonderful about it. On each reception table, there were disposable cameras and pens and paper. We asked our guests to take random pictures of themselves and other guests, and then to write down marital advice for us. This happened after the ceremony as we shook the hands of the guests, cut the cake, and shared our first dance. Later on, in the following week, we developed the cameras and then enjoyed looking through the impromptu photos and reading the marital advice and well wishes. We laughed at the silliness of some of the photos and advice and teared up at the tender messages of love and goodwill. As we pored over the photos and messages, I had to keep pointing to the photos and asking, who's that? Or in reviewing the written messages, I would ask the same thing, who wrote this? Invariably, the ones I didn't know were people from BUUF. Sample advice: honesty enhances intimacy, while lies and subterfuge break hearts and unions. That was Bessie LaBuddy who wrote that. It is now 2016. Carrie and I are approaching 8 years of marriage. What started out as really, really good has only gotten better. We've grown together, and our beloved community has been a part of that. A bit ago, I dug out the photos and messages and laughed and teared up at them, but I was surprised that the pictures and words had changed. Well, let me clarify. I was seeing them in a different way. When we were married, much of the crowd was filled with people who were strangers to me. But these pictures, they were full of my friends. The friends I have now. How did that happen? How did my friends from 2016 go back in time and attend my wedding? That's a kind of magic, don't you think? Some people think of magic as a spell, an invocation, perhaps where you deliberately visualize and draw forth the desired result. Paulo Coelho says, when you want something, all the world conspires to help you achieve it. The shared energy, goodwill, photos, and writing that the guests participated in were a form of shared intention, a form of magic, if you will. Carrie and I were getting married, but we were also beginning our journey together with our beloved community. As I look over those pictures, I am filled with love and gratefulness for all that is my life and the magic of BUUF. Now, I'd like you all to participate in a bit of magic with me. So, I didn't bring disposable cameras, but I do know you have, most of you have phones that have these magical camera things in them. So if you could take them out, I know it's in worship mode, just take a picture of people in the crowd. Some of them you may not know yet, so just take a moment. I would do it myself, but I got one of these. One of these babies. You can't do a lot with it, but you can't make phone calls. So, after the service, look at the photo that you have, see if you can find some of those folks and maybe that you don't know well yet, find out their names, and he or she may just be your friend from the future.